Vegas Raiders. Um, what's going on? What's that happening here? What's going on here? Hang on. We are not live. We're not live, I don't think. Give me 1 second. What's going on here, guys? What's going on? Have a little technical issues real quick. Gonna see if this thing is live right now. Okay. Think we had a little bit of a technical issue. I'm just gonna see if we are all good. If we are live right now. That was very weird. Internet's been wonky today, but we should be fine. Let's see. Are we good? Right now. Okay. Think we had a little bit of a technical issue. So just checked out on YouTube. We're good. We're gonna be talking the Las Vegas Raiders. So welcome everybody, guys. Before we get started, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And I'm in and out on Raider talk, but when I get the chance, I always like to talk about what's going on with the Raiders, the current situation that we're at right now. So it helped this channel out if you subscribe. There will be more Raider content in the future, and then there will be and lots of content in the channel as well. Not only sports and Raiders, but we also have like a lot of pop culture content. But today I absolutely wanted to talk what happened. I want to talk what happened. I wasn't able to see the game, but I always go back every time, even when I watch the game, I'm able to watch it on the NFL Fantasy app. I always go back and I watch the highlights of it, or when you go on YouTube, they show most of the big plays or what happened and this and that. So I went back, and then of course, I'm in a lot of Facebook groups when it comes to the Raiders and finding out, seeing the play by play. I go to Raiders Report. Mitch, I was actually listening to the game. So I was listening to the Raiders Report that Mitch does, and that's an awesome channel. They go play by play. I am always worried about Mitch and how much he's drinking, man. But he's a guy for the people, man. I like his passion and all that stuff. But okay, if you saw the thumbnail and then you saw the title is Josh McDaniels stays. Josh McDaniels has been absolutely atrocious for this team. He's a very awful coach. He's a bad coach. This dude I think he's lost 32 straight since Denver. Something like that. He's a horrible coach. Horrible. Is it all on him to blame? No, but the majority of it is on him, just like it's a majority of it's on Carr. The fan base blames Carr for a lot of things, and rightfully so. Some things he's underthrowing. He's just not that Carr. We need that in when his beginning of his career. I think we all know this. I think all Raider Nation knows this. But also you have to go to the coach and blame the coach, because a lot of these guys, I don't care. Carr and Devontae are kind of on the same page when saying, like, I don't know who is not like all in on this, who is very lackluster that they're talking about, that a lot of the guys are not, buying into this. We've heard from ex-players from Denver when they were under Josh McDaniels. I believe Brandon Marshall was just absolutely roasting him about how bad this guy is, how he doesn't have the locker room. Well, I thought I was hoping to get the news with this embarrassing loss to the Colts, because face it, man. I mean, Jeff Saturday, cool guy. That famous video, the famous when Peyton Manning and him are going at it for a little bit, because Jeff Saturday's trying to change the play and wants to run the ball a little bit more. Very a guy who took the opportunity. There's a separate video on, like, if you agree or disagree. There's opinions if you agree or disagree that Jeff Saturday actually deserved that coaching job. He's an interim coach, so he's not going to be the coach for the Colts unless he really impresses and he actually wins a lot of games with this team. But he's not going to be the coach. They're going to look for a coach and they're going to find a coach next year. But we're not talking about the Colts. We're talking about the Raiders. But we have to talk about the Colts to talk about the Raiders because Jeff Saturday has only coaching experience he has is high school. So immediately, if you're a true Raider fan and you've seen how bad this season has been, you knew. I still rolled in my work with my jersey on Sunday. I still represented because all I have is Raider gear. That's all I have is Raider clothing. I have this symbol on most of the time of my life. But if you're a true Raider fan, you knew we probably were going to lose this game. You just felt it. You felt that the team is already flattened. All the losses, all the leads that we blown. You feel this team is kind of given up. 2, you wanted them to lose because you want Josh McDaniels out. And losing to a Jeff Saturday team should be a sure way out. If it was Al Davis still here, and a lot of the times I didn't kind of agree with Al Davis because this dude would fire so many coaches, or he would have a problem with a couple of the players, most famously Marcus Allen. But especially towards his end of his years, right? We all felt like, like Jerry Jones, like for the Cowboy fans, we felt like he needed to now kind of just let it go and let somebody else take over. Al Davis is a legend, of course. Al Davis would absolutely fire McDaniels right away. I don't even think he would have hired him because Patriots of such the bad blood and the circumstances that happened through history with Raiders versus Patriots, he wouldn't even hire McDaniels. He doesn't want the Patriot way at this Raider organization. He wants just win, baby. Do what it takes. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying mentality. Which is kind of funny because the Patriots do cheat. McDaniels should be gone. But Raider scout Josh McDaniels has been given a notice that he'll return to the Raiders in 2023. According to a league source via Jeff Howe, DC Patrick Graham and Derek Carr have not been given the same insurance and their jobs are up in the air moving forward. Owner Mark Davis apparently wants to let McDaniels bring in his own talent players to a roster that severely is lacking talent. That's very true. We are lacking a lot of talent, but we did a lot of signings over this offseason, but I'll get to that in a minute. Davis isn't willing to fire a coach who can't establish himself with his own team after one season. Other NFL owners do agree with this this statement or this mind thinking of Mark Davis. Yeah. So, and then Mark has gone on record. He's gone on week by week by saying that McDaniels is our guy. McDaniels is not going anywhere. McDaniels is not going to be fired. How do you not fire a coach who lost to a guy who only has high school experience? Yeah, Patrick Graham is a lot to blame with Patrick Graham too. And this defense, the defense looks horrible. They're worse than last year. I actually thought last year they looked better than the previous years. So Patrick Graham, I think, is out. He's out probably almost to the end of the season. If they keep losing games, he's going to be out real quick. But to think that Davis, I get it. Davis thinks that McDaniels needs to, this is his first year. This isn't his guys. This is Gruden guys. This is Jack Del Rio's guys. He didn't do the drafting of a lot of the players that have gotten cut. I mean, Jonathan Abrams is a big one that we thought this guy was going to be a stud. And he's had moments, but then he gets cut and goes to the Packers. I don't know how he did over with the Packers, but they got to win. Other than this team, so this team has, they're going to cut a lot of people. And I guarantee you Derek Carr is gone. Derek Carr is absolutely going to be gone at the end of this year. They say what, 30 million if they cut him? He's gone. I if McDaniels is staying, Mark is not going to fire this guy. I'm baffled by this, but the only way Mark Davis is going to fire this guy is if they lose out the whole season. But then again, they're already trying to do a tank job this season. They a healthy scratch on Clano Farrell or whatever his name is, the bust. Healthy scratch. Perryman was out. I think he was fine to go too. So, and then the play calling of Josh McDaniels still baffles me. Absolutely baffles me. That is why I think McDaniels should absolutely be fired. That's why I think McDaniels should have the bulk of the blame, because he is the offensive guru who should be having his team at least have a 30-point average every game. But he's not. He's making a lot of decisions and a lot of calls that are just baffling. We Raider fans are not coaches. We play Madden. But even in Madden, some of the decisions we make playing Madden are better than the decisions that McDaniels make. How do you not go for the try to go for the first down because you have time on the clock? Instead, you try to shoot it to Adams, who everybody knows is the ball's going to Adams in the end zone. That is Carr's fault too. Carr needs to voice his frustration. I'm pretty sure he has directly to McDaniels and the coaching staff. He says he's all good with McDaniels, but I don't agree with that. Like, there should be a hand-in-hand good relationship. You know? Last year, Bisaccia, really no head coaching experience, yet he was still able to get Carr to win games. Here's the difference, though, Raider Nation. I think I've seen a lot of comments, and I've seen a lot of Raider Nation comments and Raider analysts and all that stuff. Real OGs here state the fact that, and I absolutely agree, is that last year we just had a little bit more of a luck on our side. There was so many close games that could have went either way, yet those close games went our way. This year is not the case. But the problem is, last year we were battling and we were already down to the wire. Carr was doing his job. He wasn't fantastic, but he was doing his job. And the team, the camaraderie was so much better. Obviously, if they're able to win games. There was a couple calls last year too that the refs made that maybe are iffy, that we got like first downs, pass interference. That's the name of the game. This year is not the case, but this year is so much different. The frustration this year is killing this team. McDaniels is bringing such an aura, such a mentality of nobody. I feel like nobody wants to play for this guy. You know, nobody wants to play with this guy. Devontae Adams I have never seen this. I don't think anybody's seen him this frustrated and this angry and this out of character since he's been with the Raiders. And that's the problem, man. We're not losing down to the wire games because it's going down to the wire because of the game. We're losing because we've had leads and we're blowing them. The defense seems to get worse and worse every game. I don't want to hear injuries because in off season, this is why the coaching staff have to be accounted for. Everybody said we need offensive linemen. We need a right tackle. Everybody said, why are we cutting Trayvon Mullen? Why are we cutting Alex Leatherwood? Move him to guard. Everybody said we need a defensive tackle. Why are we not getting Sua? Why are we not getting these big guys to either A, stop the run, or help Crosby with these double teams? I bet you Chandler Jones does better if we have a solid DT. A couple of them. Chandler Jones is a ghost. We have made sign. I was very confused with the Ngakwe. I was hoping Ngakwe could stay and then maybe you could sign Chandler Jones, but they decided to get rid of Ngakwe and Chandler Jones in. I was all on board with that signing too, though, with Chandler Jones. I thought this was going to be a great year with him, with the silver and black. He has been a ghost. I don't even think he has a sack this year yet. And most of the sacks have been coming from Max Crosby. The Indiana, the Colts, Indianapolis Colts, right? The Indianapolis Colts. My God, they played one of the worst Thursday night games, I believe. Yeah, they played one of the worst Thursday night games against the Broncos. Watching that game, anybody who watched that game and anybody who's watched a lot of the highlights or just in general, why everybody in fantasy, right? They're like, why is Jonathan Taylor this bad? Why is this team this bad? They know that the Colts have a worse line than the Raiders. They are atrocious. The Raiders are doing okay, actually, in the offensive line. The Colts are worse. Yet we watching a lot of the highlights and hearing a lot of play-by-play by Mitch, there was no pressure to Matt Ryan, who was announced. That's a genius move with Jeff Saturday. Why are you going to? Jeff Saturday said, "Why am I going to start my first NFL game with a backup? Matt Ryan's good to go. That was not my decision to sit him. I need a vet quarterback to lead me to my first win," and that's what he did. Hell, Matt Ryan ran what, 40 yards to get a first down? Or, well, he got a first down and then more. Slowest runner in the NFL, and the Raiders weren't nowhere to be on site. I've seen footage of defenders thinking somebody was going to take him out and slow down. Don't go full gas mode. Don't go 100. Max Crosby goes 100. Max Crosby's getting held. Max Crosby is getting double teamed. Yeah, he's still going. His motor is still going. Yeah, our Raider defenders slow down because they think the other guy's going to make the play. Sam Webb knocks a fumble out, and the idiot defender, I don't know who it was 58, can't fall on the ball, and the momentum switches. And the Raiders have the opportunity to put the game away. Whose fault is this? This is the player's fault, but this is the coach's fault. These are the coaches' fault. This is the regime's fault. This is too much of a talented team getting crushed under all this weight. They should be able to lift all this weight. Not with ease, not with no problems, but they should be able to lift this weight. And what I'm talking about is the Raiders coming into the season had all this promise, all this talent, a lot of these signings, a lot of re-signings. We should have been able and capable of winning games, of executing. Decision not to play preseason. Say what you want to say. That was McDaniels' decision, though. Say if you think it helps or it doesn't. That's McDaniels' decision. You still have almost the same team as last year, who were a playoff team. Now, yes, they were losing games. They had to come back from behind. Gruden went out. There was a hit job on Gruden. But that team had just so much better camaraderie. I actually even think that maybe Davante Adams, if we have a healthy Waller and a healthy Renfro, you can't really sit here and say like Davante Adams came in and screwed up the chemistry between the wide receiver group or corps. Davante Adams comes in here and actually make it a little bit easier. He's doing his part. He's getting these catches. He's getting these yards. He's getting this touchdown. He's being somewhat of a locker room leader. Derek Carr was okay last year. Derek Carr has gotten worse this year. We all said that Derek Carr has no excuses with these weapons now to lose. He has no excuse. If he can't do it with this, then it's time to let him go. I still think Derek Carr doesn't get really too much of a fair shot because our defense has never been a top 10 defense in his career. Our defense has been so bad since the Super Bowl, the last appearance of Super Bowl. It's been terrible. And even then, when we played the Buccaneers, we got our ass kicked. Derek Carr, he's not the one that's getting Renfro. Renfro got injured. Renfro's injured. He's out. Waller has been out it feels like the whole season. Like it feels like he hasn't even played this season. He's gotten his money. He's out. Yes, we're banking on next year. We're hoping that next year is our year, but Carr's not going to be here. Did Carr get a fair shake in his last year as a Raider? No, I don't think he did. And honestly, the way his contract is, I would have loved at least. I said this is the last year, and I said this is it, man. He has to prove it this year, and I stand by that. It's time to move on. I do feel like we need to move on to Carr, but if I was I would want. I really like this guy. He is a leader. The men do love Carr. The guys feel that Carr is their guy, but he's just not good enough. I would have liked to see maybe one more year if you're gonna keep McDaniels, I guess. But I don't know. It's such a disaster. I think it does feel like it. Like everybody kind of could agree, you don't, even if you love Carr, I think you got to say, Carr, go do your thing, man. Go to another team. Do your thing. You're gonna get released. We're gonna save that 30 mil. It's time to part ways. We've been in this relationship. It was the ups, the downs, but I think mutually we should part ways. I think that's what the mentality you have to look at going to, next year. It's because this year's done. There's no playoffs. There's nothing. There's no run. It's just this is not a good team on paper. And I knew this at the beginning of the year when everybody said, "You guys look good. You guys got here. You guys got them." Yeah, but I've seen teams like this on paper, and just it's either a disaster or they don't succeed. They don't reach the height. So I think Carr is gone. I think I know a lot of people are looking for who is his name, C.J. Stroud. I don't really watch college. All about the NFL. You got free agents coming. You got Lamar Jackson, who has not signed with the Ravens. Like he's a free agent, I believe, next year. But Mark Davis is not the richest owner. He's not. So, and then we don't really necessarily know the exact details, the exact number. He's given McDaniels on his contract. The coaching is guaranteed. That should not be the case. I mean, hopefully forward, the coaches are not guaranteed. But we know that probably McDaniels has 4 years in his contract. Then he got like John Gruden. I don't think that has been finished yet. I think Mark is actually still paying John Gruden with that contract. Then you had the re-signings of Waller, making him the highest paid tight end, who is not, or one of the highest paid tight ends, who's not even playing, who's 30 years old and not getting younger, who is injury prone. I do agree with the signing, but, Foster Moreau has done a little bit more work than Waller because he's playing. And Foster Moreau has great talent, but, I'll say Waller is a better tight end when he's healthy, of course. But, yeah, these re-signs. Yeah, Hunter Renfrow. And I love Hunter Renfrow, but obviously the scheme and the offense is just not working for him. He's not becoming that Wes Welker that we thought. Then you had Devontae Adams. He's the one kind of saving grace in a lot of these signings. But is he going to stay if Carr leaves or if Carr gets cut? Is the whole reason for him to come is because of Carr. Unless you sign Lamar Jackson, I think he walks too. I think he wants a trade because that's his boy. And they might be frustrated at each other at this point too. The whole team's frustrated. The players are probably frustrated with there's a lot of bad jujus going around with this team and with probably individuals. And there's probably a lot of pointing of the fingers. But if Derek Carr is cut, Devontae Adams is not going to play for the Silver and Black. He's not going to do that. He's going to demand a trade. Unless you get Lamar Jackson or unless you get, I don't know, free agent wise, what quarterbacks are out there, but I think Tom Brady is another one that's going to be a free agent. We don't even know if Tom's going to play again. I mean, I would think he would, at least one more since him and Giselle are split. So I mean, and then Aaron Rodgers is, he signed that extension, he signed that deal with the Packers. Is there any way we can get him? Is there any way to bring Rodgers in with a trade or something? We almost traded Waller, which we should have done. But Devontae's out. Devontae's out. If Carr's out, I absolutely think so. And I think they gave Carr this contract. There was a no trade clause for Carr, which I think believe Carr wanted, or he wanted to finish at least this year with the Raiders, but to have that in his contract that they can cut him and save 30 million. Whew, it might have been a nice little lure, a little hook and sinker to try to get Devontae in, because I don't think McDaniels. I absolutely believe that McDaniels doesn't want Carr. After the post game, Carr saying what he did, him crying and this and that. You can say what you want to say, but I would want my quarterback to be that passionate about our team. It's Carr has been a great role model for the Raiders. He has said what he needs to say. He's been he loves this organization. So to me, even if Carr leaves, he'll be a Raider forever. He won't, he gave us some success. He got us to the playoffs. He got us to the playoffs twice. You got to remember he got injured when we played the Texans. But he'll be a Raider for me, man. If I see him like 30 years down the line and he's out there signing stuff, I'll, give him a handshake. Or if I see him at Fresno, say thank you for, for doing all you can for the Raiders. Thank you for your, because I've seen plays with Carr where he threw his body on the line. He jumped over just to get a first down. This guy plays his heart out. He plays to win. It's just you could see the regression now that he's getting older. He's in the league for a while. You see the regression. You don't see that Carr of old. I think it's time to move on. But he'll be a Raider for me because he's done a lot, even if he hasn't done a lot when it comes to statistics and winning and stuff. He's been a great role model. He's been a great Raider, and we've had horrible Raider seasons throughout these years, this decade. But we still remember Marcel Reese and his contribution. We still consider him a Raider for life. There is Raiders in the past that were Raiders that we've been absolutely terrible as teams. I consider still, one. I thank them for the contribution, even though they never had a winning season or the Raiders just looked god awful. Zach Miller's another one. He was actually one of my favorite Raiders. Tight end, number 80. Never had. I thought he could have been the Antonio Gates for the Raiders, but the Raiders never had a quarterback. I saw that guy catch a ball, get hit in the head, and sustain that catch. What a stud. I'm glad he went to the Seahawks, and I'm glad he won a Super Bowl with them. Same with Carr. If Carr goes off to another team and he has so much success, that's good for him. He tried it here. It didn't work out. But if he goes somewhere else and he has success, we as Raider Nation should applaud that, because he tried. He tried here. How many how many coaches has he had? How many offenses he had to learn? How many playbooks? I want the success for Derek Carr because he's a good man. He's a good man, and he was a good role model for the Raiders. But it's time to move on. I don't know why the Raiders never invested in a quarterback. It still baffles me that we don't have a Jordan Love sitting on that bench. I'm not saying Jordan Love. I think Jordan Love is pretty trash. But not having somebody sitting there and learning like Aaron Rodgers did, learning from Brett Favre. We don't have that guy. And it baffles me. Now we're going to finally go after a quarterback in the draft because we have a terrible team, I guess, this season. We have a good chance of getting a high pick. I don't understand why we didn't do this sooner. I get they had all their eggs in for Carr, but you need a backup plan. And no backup, man. No backup. Josh McDaniels is not going to get fired this year. especially if Mark and him had a discussion. Josh McDaniels is a good little weasel, man. He's a good little car salesman, pun intended. He likes to he's a good salesman, man. He likes to tell Mark what he needs to hear to say, it's okay, baby. We got this. Listen, I'm really just trying to get to the draft. And once I get my guys, we'll be good. I'll have my off, I think the defense is not doing good. We might have to get rid of Patrick Graham. I was wrong about him, but I think we're headed to the right direction. We're headed to the right direction, Mark. Well, if you, okay, 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 Josh. Well, I agree. You're doing good. You're doing a good bang up job. Give me a break, man. And the gall on that guy, man, Josh McDaniels, the gall of that guy saying he didn't know what Carr was talking about like, players not being giving it all and being all in on this. The gall of that guy. He knows exactly what's going on. If he doesn't know what's going on, what a freaking idiot. What an absolute douchebag. What is wrong with you? You should be knowing what's going on from point A to point B, every corner of that locker room. You should be knowing what is going on. But that's our head coach, guys. That's our head coach wanting to tell the reporters, I don't know what Derek Carr is talking about. You got to talk to him. I think we got to do good in practice. That's what I need. Shut the fuck up, man. Shut up, Josh McDaniels. I'm so pissed that Mark Davis has no stones. I don't care. That's his damn fault of how much he gave him contract-wise. That is his own damn fault. It was his fault with Gruden. It is his fault with Josh. But you need to pull the plug. The problem is I have so much Raider gear. This was the game. This was the absolute game where every Raider fan in that Allegiant Stadium, everybody around the world said, I am not buying anything Raider related until this is fixed. I don't want to go to games. I want to sell my tickets. I don't want nothing to do with representing the Raiders until this is fixed. We are still Raider fans. But why would I want to go out and buy a new Raider cap? Why would I want to spend money to see them lose? I was supposed to go Raiders and Rams this year. I went Raiders and Chargers week 1. We lost. But I said this one game, we almost came back. We're okay. And then, wow, was I wrong. We are a disaster. I am absolutely not going to waste my time, my money, going to back to SoFi Stadium to see the Raiders lose twice there. Even if Matthew Stafford wasn't playing, we would probably still lose. That's how bad we are. It is crazy how the Broncos are in the same level as the Raiders. They had the same hype. But I thought the Broncos would be last, and I still might be right. But I did not envision the Raiders to be last right now. Max Crosby tweeting after the game, Raider Nation doesn't deserve this. Max is my boy. I hope this, if you want to give money to somebody, guaranteed money, give it to Max. Because I want that mofo to retire as a Raider. I have been a fan of Max Crosby since they got him. When I saw this guy and the work he was doing in that year 1, I was like, this is my boy right here. And I got his jersey. I don't get people's jersey till I see what they can do. I'll get Nate Hobbs. Nate Hobbs has been good. He's just injured. I got Carr's jersey because that's my quarterback. I got Adams' jersey because, damn, he's a stud. It's nice. But Adams is looking like Randy Moss with the Raiders. Like, he's in a bad team. But Max Crosby, this guy deserves that extension. This guy deserves every penny. This guy is a great guy, a great leader. And telling the Raider Nation, you don't deserve this, that's a Raider. That's a Raider that knows something's wrong. Something is just bad here. So Raiders lose to the Colts. I mean, dude, I don't even really have to look at the statistics. Carr didn't have a bad game. Josh Jacobs had 78 yards running, one touchdown. Josh Jacobs has slowed down, but he's still been kind of consistent with some yardage here. I think he's gone. I told my buddy like he's gone. There's they can't afford him. They want Zamir White or they're gonna get somebody else. Like he's gone. This is not. This is not. This is Josh McDaniels' team. He wants either Patriot guys or he wants to get some guys that remind him of the Patriot way. This might if McDaniels continues to coach and he comes in for 2023 like the reports are saying, we are in a world of hurt because this guy is not it. He's gonna make us lose. He's gonna do so many things in the draft. He's gonna do so many signings in the offseason that's gonna hurt this team still going into the future. It's gonna set us back just like Gruden did. Well, I don't. It can't get any worse. What Gruden and what's his name did. It can't get that worse. A lot of our guys that we drafted high gone. Baffling draft picks. Alex Leatherwood was the most baffling to me. Gone. So I'm frustrated, man. I think everybody's frustrated. Everybody's just trying to figure out why Mark Davis is not firing this guy. Everybody's trying to figure out what's gonna. We're already thinking off season. We're already thinking at the end of the year what's gonna happen. I'll tell you what's gonna happen. I'm gonna tell you right now before I leave. Carr's gonna get cut. McDaniels is gonna stay as coach until next year unless they lose out all their gains from here on out. Patrick Graham's gone. Patrick Graham's probably gone almost at the end of the year. Quarterback, first pick. Mark Davis continues to keep the team, and the Raiders continue to make money because they are the Raiders, and people love the Raiders gear, their colors. Yeah, if we really wanted to really showcase the Raider Nation power, we would not buy their stuff. We would not attend their games. We wouldn't, because this is a joke. This has been a joke for many, many, many years. This has been a joke since fucking high school for me. I'm 32 years old, going on 33 this month. We have been bad since I was in high school. And I ain't the healthiest human being on earth. I'm hoping to at least go to Super Bowl one more time where I could see them win it instead of see them get crushed by their ex-coach. But that's not looking too good. Sometimes you don't get the things you want. Sometimes you don't get the Allen Iversons with getting that ring. Sometimes you don't get the LeBron James losing that ring. Sometimes you just don't get what you want. Sometimes it's just life hitting you right in the freaking face. And what's the realization is that the Raiders have still bad. They're still the Raiders. They're the awful Raiders. They're not the Golden Age Raiders. They're not the strong defense that I know they could be. So it's frustrating. We're moving on. I'm hoping that we at least beat the Chargers this year at least once. Of course, hopefully we beat the Denver Broncos again. You know, it's we're in a sad state. I don't know, man. I don't know. Mark Davis needs to go. Mark Davis needs to go. So I want to thank you guys for listening to my rant, listening to my thoughts about where this team is and what I think is absolutely mind-blowing, how many losses we've had, how many leads we've had, why we still have McDaniels here as head coach as this recording. I don't know, man. That's the Raiders. So, till next time, guys. Thank you for Just Win Baby podcast. Until we talk more